All right, welcome everyone to More Leads, More Deals with Encoder Products. My name is Adam Beck. I'm the Director of Marketing here at CADENAS USA. And my guest today is going to be Tim Kelly from Encoder Products. We had an interesting scheduling situation in that Tim is actually at PAC Expo right now. So we recorded this ahead of time, but lucky for everyone, we're going to bring him in hopefully as a special guest at the end to do a live Q&A. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop back to the deck, and then I'm going to roll it over to our recorded interview, and then we'll pop back out to live. So with that, let's see if I can manage all these different buttons here all at once. So like I said, this is More Leads, More Deals, how Encoder Products converts CAD downloads into measurable revenue. As an order of business, just fire away. If you have questions, put them in the chat. We will stack those up and answer them to the best of our ability. If some of them don't get answered, don't worry. We'll have a follow-up. We'll get somebody with you in one way or another. Or if you're interested, I'm sure someone else is too. So we'll try our best to answer those all in the follow-up. So why are we here today? We're talking about online product data within the sales process. This is content that engineers need. How to tie online activities to your sales process, why CAD downloads are among the strongest buying signals your team can get, and how Encoder's team uses their tech stack and their outreach mix for real sales results. And that's where really the secret sauce is here is Encoder's follow-up and tracking. So with that, let's talk to Tim. Tim, welcome. Good to see you this morning.
Nice to see you, Adam. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. So with that, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Tim Kelly. I've been in automation for about 30 years with various companies. I work for Encoder Products as the global marketing manager, but also I'm the OEM sales pillar role, which is, just focused on those entities that I have relationships over the long haul of my uh, tenure in this role.
Cool. So for those who don't know, can you tell us a little bit more about what Encoder Products does?
Sure. We're a rotary encoder manufacturer based in northern Idaho. We've been in business since 1969, and we make absolute and incremental encoders with various outputs and various resolutions, programmable ones, and so forth. Protocols of all types for communication and aligned now with Industry 4.0 requirements as well.
So I was not familiar with what an encoder actually did before we talk. Can you just give to a layperson, what's an encoder do?
Sure, and there's various applications, but the one that's most common is a conveyor, because people kind of get an idea of what that is. And so, if a conveyor is moving, and this is a motion feedback device, so you need to know the speed of that movement, you need to know the direction of that conveyor, and you need to know the position of the product that is on that conveyor, whatever it might be, a box of cereal, or maybe it's a motor of some kind for an automobile manufacturer. But the device rotates and is coupled to either the motor mechanically or coupled to maybe one of the rollers on the conveyor, again, mechanically with either a shaft or a hollow bore, which connects with some set screws. Or it's a wheel that rides along a belted conveyor. Again, to see the direction of the wheel turning or the speed in which the wheel turns. And then, of course, you can determine position of your product using that information.
And it's just given constant feedback.
Yeah, there are pulses that come out just like a clock pulse,
Yeah. Okay.
or if you're familiar with a shift register, it's kind of like that.
So it sounds like it's a specialized product, but also a lot of applications for it. So who's looking for an encoder at the end of the day?
So you have various industries that use encoders, whether it be on an unmanned agricultural piece of equipment, for instance. It could be on a tractor that is a manned tractor. It can be on a crane, conveyors for packaging equipment, conveyors for warehousing like Amazon and so forth, FedEx, UPS. So the the technology has advanced greatly for higher and higher speeds and higher resolutions, wash down and so forth for packaging industry where you're packaging food. So you might have to wash it down, and so you need a higher level of rating on the NEMA side to make sure that you don't destroy the product in that process.
Who's the person though? What's their challenge? What are they? Somebody, if the guy that's coming to your website, who is that that's looking for an encoder? What's his?
So maybe it's a maintenance engineer who's looking for a replacement product on their line to keep the line up and moving. And maybe they are calling us because they can't find that product online. Maybe it's not available because of supply chain issues, or maybe it's obsolete and they're looking for a drop-in replacement.
Okay.
Or you have design engineers who are looking for the latest technology to upgrade and innovate their next level of machinery. And so they want maybe an IO-Link encoder or an encoder with J1939 CAN open type communication so that they can, um, again, innovate, specialize, and develop new products for the rapidly changing technological market or environment out there. And then you got purchasing agents too, who are looking for a better price, a better deal, better delivery, a closer relationship with a manufacturer, maybe rather than going through several distribution channel partners to get to the manufacturer. So they're looking for a better connection to getting their problem solved, which is I can't find the product fast enough and I need to get it when I need it. So,
Yeah. So a lot of different hats and a lot of different industries again. So Encoder uses an online product configurator to deliver product data. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how that facilitates delivering to those different personas?
okay, so in an AGV, for instance, okay, the information on the speed and direction and things like that need to be fed back to the control, need to be fed back to the main center because a lot of these bots, tote bots, maybe AMRs, they're putting equipment in various parts of the warehouse. Maybe they're loading a truck, automatically. And so that feedback information is constant. It is, again, tracking speed, direction, maybe even the direction of the turn of the tire. And that's critical. Those devices need to be maintained and kept running for, again, throughput. If you look at warehousing like Amazon, that is a finely tuned machine. So when they have a problem with that particular machine, they need really fast maintenance. And so they need to be able to grab that encoder wherever they can find it, and having alternatives like us, having a US based customer and manufacturer or a supplier like us gives us an advantage. We don't have supply chain issues, we don't have tariff issues. So we meet their pricing, delivery, quality. Our tech support is less than a minute. You will talk to an encoder expert.
Wow.
And oftentimes, because I report on that KPI, oftentimes it's 18 seconds or less.
Wow.
And so when we talk to our customers about that, they're blown away because they're like, I literally do not get calls back from some of your competitors,
Yeah.
which is great news for us,
Yeah. I know.
bad news for them. But again, those value propositions and points that we have, that identifies Encoder and sets us apart.
Yeah. So do you see the online tools as a self-service tool or a conversation starter for sales or customer support or all the above?
Oh, it is definitely a generator for the conversation of our RSMs, and the forms that are filled out when somebody downloads a drawing, for instance, like our partnership with you guys, it is a highly qualified sales lead at that point
Yeah.
because they're showing intent, they're showing interest, and they're telling you exactly what product they downloaded.
Yeah.
You guys have a great system to connect us to all those details that the sales guys need, sales folks need to arrive with the information that lets the customer know we understand. We know exactly what you're working on. We can help you further test and approve the product. We can get you a sample. If there's any customization on the connectivity or the mounting configuration that we need to work on, we are very fast on customization as well because everything's done in the US. And
So
we
it's not like they're
manufacture.
walking through your front door saying, and you're saying, how can I help you? You're
Yep.
already layers down in the specifics of how you can help them. You're in the middle of the conversation already.
Yes, and we have a better understanding because of the product that they chose to download. We have a better understanding of where that might be used on that particular piece of equipment. So
Okay.
the follow up in the conversation begins, like you said, several layers closer to the solution, and finalizing with a closed, you order.
Yeah. So what is the customer journey when they're, how do they get to your website typically? And then what is their steps to get to some sort of content and then in touch with your sales team and then a purchased encoder?
So our founder was very, very smart. And so our company, Encoder Products, tells you everything you need to know about what we do, really.
A plus on the
Our
SEO there.
website is encoder.com. So he grabbed that. That was really very brilliant. So when somebody looks up Encoder,
Yeah.
we're very high on that list. Google Analytics,
Yeah.
rates us very highly because of all those factors, right? And of course, we create content and we're constantly putting out the kind of content that Google Analytics likes, right? We're experts in this and we're talking about these solutions down to really nitty gritty details. So the customer can find us very easily when they do a search for encoders.
Right.
Two, our website, we constantly work on our website to update the flow of information. We have an applications page that shows you almost 20 different application categories that a customer can locate really quickly and drop right into that page. And when they get to that application page, they can relate because we've done a lot of this over 56 years. So once they get to the page, they find their product. There is even a form on being able to build out your product. We've got a configurator. So they can go through the check boxes of configuring the encoder that they want to download, right, for a drawing. So all that information, by the way, and it's not a big brother thing. They are filling the information out with the knowledge that we will be in touch with them. So it's not a scary thing
Right.
or one where we're tracking just them being there. They're intentionally leaving their information because they want to be working with us on this solution. So once they go through that process of determining, yeah, I think this is a good fit. The drawing, I'm downloaded it, I'm fitting it on my machine, because normally that's what they do. They want to make sure that they can get it into a form and fit, and then the functionality, the specifications are all right there as well. And if they've gone through the check boxes correctly on what type of outputs they want, on what size the shaft is, how long the shaft is, all of those things, if they've gone granular on the details of specifying that product, they know what they want. And so, we're again, we're walking in with the everything ready to go.
So
So
there's a myth that I've heard many times about engineers will not fill out a form. And then I've seen in recent years, people have asked a little bit more on that question, and they've elaborated and said, what will you fill out a form for? And I think it seems as though, and I want to hear your experience in this, that if there's something they need or if there's something of value, an engineer will fill out a form happily, and because they're ready and willing to have that conversation with the manufacturer they trust, and that they want to have they want the content to come back to them, and they want to open that conversation with the manufacturer. Do you see that yourself?
I mean, there are times when you get some really odd form,
Yeah. Well, we know those too.
coming through where somebody doesn't want to be necessarily identified.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Anonymity is fine.
Yep.
That's your choice. We have that level of freedom here.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, when they are really wanting to get this problem solved, they're willing to share that information. They want you to contact them. They want you to follow through, and that's why the sales guys highly regard the CADENAS forms and responses on these downloads. They follow up with them right away.
Love
All of
that.
our sales guys tell us, and by the way, it's not just our sales folks. I believe that any sales team out there who has the ability to provide a connection at that level where you can clearly see the intent, you can clearly see the product defined, and you can follow through on all that information that the customer is providing. I think any sales team out there would find those highly valuable. Um, we get magazine leads, we get trade show leads, you get categories of phone call leads. Maybe there's somebody like me who's pushing tasks through HubSpot or Salesforce to our sales team saying, hey, check this out. This entity is in your territory, and it's just like the one we just won at this company over here. Go check them out. So they're getting input from all over, and they're also doing their own level of cold calling and reach out to customers that they have on their hit list. When they see this, that is at the top of the list. The form submissions from CADENAS and from Park Solutions is at the very top of the list. They know that they're going to close on those leads. And again, I think that would be any sales team out there, not just ours.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's how you approach it though too is a big part of it. What's your sales follow up? What's that touch point like? And then what happens after that?
So it's not just a singular email, which as well as I that the inbox for your email is inundated all day, every day with lots of useless information. And a lot of it is distracting. And so if that email comes in from us, half the time, okay, they're looking at it going, okay, he's following up from the form I just downloaded, so we're okay.
Yeah.
I keep saying he, and I don't mean to be
Yeah.
disrespectful in any way.
Yeah.
So the salesperson will follow up with a phone call instead of just an email because the details are there. So I don't need to just rely on a general inbox email. I can make a phone call. I can stop by if he's close enough. And on my route that day, I happen to be passing through that area. I can just stop by and say, hey, is Melissa available? I want to talk to her about this download, and I'm sure she's ready to discuss it because we had an exchange, whatever.
Yeah.
But I really, we go through not just email, phone, but we will actually show up at the door as well. And most of the time we don't get like big, don't do that or pushback or anything like that. Most of the time it's a very welcoming experience, and they're thankful that we came and responded so quickly, and they're ready to begin the conversation of how we um, apply our product and how we get this problem solved that they're having.
That's awesome. And I think, the blend is a great thing. The in person, the over the phone, and the email, because any one of those is easily ignored, and I think it's also you're you know breaking through the noise. But um, you had mentioned the high conversion rate. Do you have data on that? Do you?
I'm hesitant to reveal too much
Yeah,
because this is, you know,
yeah,
public information.
right.
And so some of this is our, very, I don't want to call it a competitive advantage,
Hmm.
but it's a competitive advantage.
Yeah, yeah.
So no, I can't provide the conversion rate. I can tell
Okay.
you it's very high.
You're tracking it though.
We are.
And maybe we could touch on your tech stack a little bit, because you mentioned HubSpot and Salesforce, and then the CADENAS tools plugged in your website. Do you have other elements that are working in unison there? And how are you tracking all of? So you do know the conversion rate. You know it's very high. We've seen it as high as, anecdotally, 80+% from manufacturers. Um, you're tracking that though, cradle to
Yes.
grave, really. Can you talk a little bit more about that? How you track all those touch points with the customer
Okay.
to prove out the ROI?
So we have a proprietary CRM that's connected to our enterprise ERP system. So we can see, all of those customers that we touched, close a deal, and measure the growth or the expansion. So we measure the adoption of new products, the continue growth of current products, and whether we've moved them from one product to another intentionally to stave off any competitive approach. There is also a contact research, and again, I don't want to reveal what we use,
Yeah, we don't
but
want you to give away too much here.
part of what we do is connected directly to our website. And so if you think about the platforms out there like HubSpot and so forth that also have website development, that's what we're doing.
Yep.
And that gives us all the ability to track and trace and group customer types and so forth. So we can see it from that point of view on the marketing side. On the sales side, we also have sales tools that we use to track and trace growth, new customers, adoption of new products, and so forth. So we've got several tools doing that. Then so contact research. Um, if you look at some of the tools that are out there now, like 6sense and so forth,
Yep.
they connect directly to those other tools as well and give us the ability to see interest again
Yep.
and intent. If somebody is looking at our website and they have hit 36 times on our brand new product, we think that, oh, these people, they want to hear more.
Yep. You don't need a
So,
sixth sense for that, I don't
yeah.
think.
So again, like 6sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
contact research tools um, help us to see these new entities. And I can search out contacts on those tools and upload them into our CRM and begin a cadence in nurturing to gain more information on their interest
Right.
of our products. And we can also research whether or not they've they're using encoders, what type of encoders they're using, and so forth. We can I don't want to say we can do that granularly,
Yeah.
but and we can tell by the type of equipment that they use encoders. Who
Okay.
they're using,
Yep.
we might be able to determine that by going to a trade show and just peeking under the hood and seeing, that it's a Dynapar or a
Yeah.
Kubler or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So Did that answer your question?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. So really, the main takeaways I'm hearing is number one, provide the high value content your audience needs. That can be product data or CAD or data sheets or whatever make sure it's available, what they're looking for. Have that instant automated follow up.
Yep.
You're logging everything in your CRM and marketing automation, and then your combination of in person, over the phone, email touches on a nurturing type cadence is really the encoder. That's your that's your value add.
Yeah.
But what am I missing there? What
Well, again, some of our competitors have multiple lines.
Yeah,
Okay, so and they're not just an encoder company,
right.
right? And most encoder companies are that way. A sick optic, for instance, they sell everything. They manufacture everything. So encoders is just a segment of their business. Turk, same
Right.
way, right?
Okay.
Kubler, same way. So with Bomber, you go through the list.
Yeah.
There's a very few that are so narrowly focused on just encoders. So that is an advantage to us and a comfort to the customer that it's not just another thing that we sell or make. It
Yeah.
is the thing that identifies who we are. We live it, breathe it, and we have since 1969.
That's awesome.
So that to them, there's a comfort level at the customer that you know what you're talking about. You're not in here trying to sell me sensors and safety and cameras and everything else. You're completely focused on the solution that I reached out to you for. And they like that. And so
Yeah.
we have that as a very strong value proposition to our customers.
Perfect. Well, that's all of my questions for today. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm sure this audience will be there will be questions, and we will have a follow up shortly after this.
Well, thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate your interest in our company, our products, and giving us the opportunity to share this information with you today.
Yeah,
And
thanks for being a partner and being willing to do this. It's been great.
absolutely,
All right,
anytime.
thank you. All right.
Take care.
All right. So just to add a little bit of context to what Tim and I were talking about, I'm gonna do the 90-second what actually is 3D Find It for everyone who might be new to this product. So at CADENAS, our 3D Find It e-catalog product helps manufacturers provide a great digital customer experience by being easy to do business with. The idea is you keep customers on your website, you provide data as marketing content. That data can be PDFs, CAD, etc. And then you're creating those relevant customer conversations, generating leads, and giving your sales team things to follow up on and take further down the path. So um, eCatalog 3D Find It is, this is Encoder's website, a quick little shot of it. Online configuration with a 3D preview. It provides CAD, ECAD, BIM data, plus 100 plus formats, as well as PDF data sheets configured on demand, which is critical depending on which department you're talking to. So three quick features that really play into what Tim and I were just saying. The first is the dimensions on the preview. This is one of those things that, you can't tell how big this connector is. It could be as big as a bathtub. It's actually 1/8 of an inch tall. It's tough to tell that from the screen. And by providing things like embedded dimensions, your audience can tell instantly that they're getting the right product the first time and helps facilitate a cleaner conversation with your sales team down the stream. The other is that configured PDF data sheet. That's for those users that don't use CAD. When they're done configuring a product, it's great for documentation, but also for purchasing. That all the configured information is in that one document. They can take from engineering to purchasing wherever they need to reference when they're ready to buy. And the last one, super relevant to what we talked about today, is the CADENAS data connector that takes all of the conversion data and pushes that into your connected systems, be it HubSpot, Salesforce, Dynamics, or other systems. We're always adding new ones, and we have ways to add others that aren't currently on the screen. So that's really the big ones I want to make sure everyone knew about. And let's, I think Tim is available here. I'm going to add him to the stage for a little bit of Q&A. Tim,
Hi, everybody.
thank you so much for making this from Vegas at PAC X. Has the show started?
Oh, yeah, it started yesterday.
How
Yeah,
is
it
it?
was been great.
Awesome. So we do have a few questions. Are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first one is, how long did it take before you started seeing results from having the online tools on your website?
Oh, gosh. When we started out with this, again, it was a learning curve for the sales folks to understand the value of them. But once they began following up, they immediately saw the quality of this type of lead versus all the other types of leads we've had over of the of the course of our online presence.
Well,
Um,
that's our second question. How did you get buy-in from sales on this? Like, what was the they just how did they see how qualified these leads were?
so we have sales folks that have been with us for a long time. Zach is the senior, and he's been with us for over 24 years. So Zach was the guy that told us, "Hey, the quality of the leads that we're getting is not that great." But he is also one to qualify and say the form leads that we're getting from these 3D downloads, I'm hitting on just about every one. I'm closing deals on those. That is such a higher level than we've had in the past. So it was not, I don't want to say immediate, but I would have to say within the first 60 days of us joining and getting these kinds of results. And Zach, of course, we have a sales meeting every week, and Zach was sharing that information with the group. Hey guys, pay attention to these 3D downloads from Part Solutions because they're very good. And so he was a champion for you guys, if you will, a
Love that.
cheerleader. Yeah.
Nice. So, how about what type of wording do you use? Any special wording to make sure your customers know that you're going to be following up? You know, did you have that built into the form, or is that on the first touch, or is there something there to just warm them up a little bit to your coming touch points, if it's email or calls?
Yeah, so when they fill it out, they get an email back saying that we will be in touch with them, that a salesperson or an inside salesperson, somebody would be following up. So they do get a response email
Okay.
that lets them know that we're going to be pursuing them
Yeah,
and
and that's a
helping them solve their problem.
yeah, totally, and that's a best practice that we recommend too. That first touch, make sure they have Encoder at the top of their inbox. They know, you know, the email address, the phone number, the human they can talk to, and all those things are right there. And it's already kind of started moving the conversation down the field. So,
Yeah.
how about your team's approach to lead gen? Are you creating the same amount of content, or do you have this content repository and you don't need to? Um, since having this digital catalog, what's your content approach been?
We like the inbound type leads, and so we create, and of course we kind of coined the term that others are using now. Your experts in motion control or your experts in motion feedback. Well, if we're experts, we better be developing content that tells the story, not just, hey, I've got a new thingy, but here's how this new thingy solves your problem. Here's how it improves your processes. Here's how, right? And so we're developing content that's deeper with white papers and videos and personal interest stories as well from our sales folks so that you get to know them, who they are, and so forth.
Yeah,
But also that level of expertise that tells you we have an understanding of the kind of problems you have applying products. And so you have a problem with the type of output, or do you have a problem with, no one else will customize your connections? or your mounting configuration, because your machine is unique. It's not a cookie cutter machine. So how's our product going to fit in? So we do a lot of deep dive on the content so that people know that we understand where you are, but also that we know our product and our industry. Does that answer your
Yeah,
question?
that's perfect. Yeah. So, and then we have one that I think is for me. That do we currently have a NetSuite connector? I don't know, and I will review that and get back to you in email. I believe that there's ways that we can connect to almost any system. We have the out of the box integrations for Salesforce, HubSpot, and Dynamics, but I will check on NetSuite. The last thing that I see here is how has your catalog evolved since you launched it to improve on conversions or just what your audience needs?
Well, of course, printed catalogs are going away.
I mean more
Everything is
like the online catalog. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so everything is online anyway. So the way that we provide is we have millions of combinations of models. Okay, and so it's nearly impossible to create them all without blowing things up unnecessarily. So we measure, volume and popularity and things like that. And so we build out our catalog based on demand. If somebody buys one time, it's not most likely going to be found in the configurator. But again, if we see that one and somebody asks us, "Hey, I need to put that on machine," and we measure um, the potential, then we do add it. We really keep our head in the game to determine whether or not we should add it to our catalog. And so it's based on demand, based on
Yep,
popularity to begin with. And then after 2020, things really took off and we loaded the Part Solutions numbers up. And you probably saw the ramp up right
yep,
around 2020 and 2021.
yeah, yeah. I think that's universal across the board. Manufacturers with well implemented catalogs. I mean, you're poised and ready to pounce, and that's the way it is. But also, it's a best practice for manufacturers tend to add the 80/20 rule. They add the most popular product lines up front, but then always continually adding more products because there's that one guy that wants that one, or you never know. So a continuous evolution. So that's great. And I think I'm looking at all the questions here. I think that's it. Tim, thank you twice
Uh,
for making this. I really appreciate it. Have a
you're
great
welcome.
show and at PAC Expo. Thanks again.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. You
All
guys
right,
have a good
thank you.
day.
All right, so that's really it. The next step for us, we will send a follow-up here. If you have a pressing question and need to get in touch with us instantly, info@partsolutions.com is the place. Thanks again to Tim and Encoder Products for being a part of this. This was great. And thank you all for joining.